Blue Heavens Tuesday Teaching, Episode 42. Lilith compares her walk to the Wizard of Oz, and Alice in Wonderland. Oh man. So I'm Angie.
I'm Michelle.
And we are sisters. We are Blue Heavens and we are sisters. I don't know what the hell we are. Let's see what we are. I don't Okay. We are sisters who channel ancient and divine beings from two councils of thought. Lazarus is a divine counsel that teaches love and light, while Lucian is a divine counsel that teaches the shade and illusion. And together these beings teach us how to bravely shine divine light on the hidden shadow within ourselves so that we can face it, embrace it, replace it, man. I'm running on little sleep, so I don't know what you're getting out of me today. So Michelle is going to be a beauty and channel Lilith for us, and she's going to compare her walk to the Wizard of Oz and the Alice in Wonderland. So it'll be neat to see, because Michelle and I have had reflections of Wizard of Oz like threaded throughout our lives. There's been little hints and things that link us to the Wizard of Oz, and it's always been divine. It's divine and synchronistic. So I personally am excited to hear about this because it's just going to stitch it in a little bit deeper for us. It's going to cross stitch this shit into our lives.
Well, and this is Nokeus, and just then to add some more stitches to the shit. Hi. So we're going to have Lilith talk about the walk, but we're also going to bring Kana, and me, and we're all going to discuss our walk because we each had a separate perspective.
Destiny said, well, mine has always been Alice in Wonderland, which was just last minute added in from Dylan. So again, do you see how God uses other threads on the same damn quilt? Oh, I love that. Thank you, Destiny, for putting that. I love that. That's more stitching.
Well, what's funny is because Dylan wanted to watch Alice in Wonderland because Loki won't let us watch that Loki series too. So Dylan goes, "Oh, I want to see the movie with Johnny Depp because we wanted to watch it, but her ex-husband doing Johnny Depp, whatever. So we watched it finally, and we're on the second one. But Dylan says, "Ooh, isn't that kind of like the Wizard of Oz?" And I'm like, "Oh my!" And then now Destiny, yeah. So
perfect. Oh man, if I had popcorn, I would munch and watch.
So Dylan also mentioned this, which we thought was great. So this morning, Loki got chewed out for this one, but so David asked, "So what are you guys talking about?" And we said Lilith is going to talk about her walk compared to Lucifer's. So basically, Loki said, "So is this you correcting Lucifer because your mom's always correcting your dad?"
Yeah.
Stories, so, yeah. Lucifer grumped and said, "That's not funny." Not in that way. Okay, so with no ado, we're going to bring Lilith. And if you have any questions for her, I know you're tired, but she had to have been tired with all of us because we were not fun.
Yeah.
We're not fun at all. So, and Kana, by the way, isn't really thrilled about this because he doesn't like talking about it, but we got him like one time. No. He's here. So we'll bring Lilith and then we'll proceed as ever she wants to.
Perfect.
Hello, how are you?
I'm tired, but good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm not tired. I'm just in this realm with men and
feel for you.
Well, they're scared of me, so luckily I've got that going for me. They're scared of me. So luckily that works for me in that, except Lucifer's in his toddler mode right now. He's in toddler mode. This morning he goes, "Everybody called on me last night, the energy, because it being around Halloween." And I said, "Well, they're calling on a Hayoka, meaning not you, they're calling on it." He said, "Don't matter, call the name." And he's grouching. And then you hear Loki laughing about it, and they go back and forth because it's the same aspect. I don't know. And I don't know. But so we want to talk about the walk that I had. Not my version of it makes Lucifer he had a version.
Your perspective.
My perspective, or the right.
Right.
I know he said that this morning. He said, "What the right?" I'm like, Yeah, well, he's in a bad mood. Let's not go there
Yeah.
with Lucifer today. He is not in, he's in grouch mode, but nothing that I've not dealt with before. All
Yeah.
right. So I guess how would you like me to start? I guess when the whole thing with Samuel started, that whole sorted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was sorted. Well, I was by myself, I wandered around. Well, to back it up, there's a lot I could back up. I'm gonna try to shorten as much as I can. But if we're comparing it to the Wizard of Oz, I was kind of like, I guess, this Dorothy or Alice, and in a lot of circumstances that, because you're in a dream state. This is a dream state. And when you got the veil, you have no idea you're in that dream state, such as when Dorothy goes to Oz, and then when Alice goes down to Wonderland or whatever, Underland, she was being corrected last night. I have no idea. She thought it was all confusing. We all agreed, though, that Johnny Depp's character, the Mad Hatter, looked like Marcus. It's the only thing we could figure, except he didn't have his body hanging out as Marcus would. But he had the red hair as Marcus. We're all like, oh, there's Marcus. And he goes, no, I'd be half naked. We're like, yeah, we all know you'd be naked. But that would be the appeal of the Mad Hatter for all of us. Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, I better be quiet because Lucifer. Anyway, so the dream state is basically everything happened with Adam. He was not what I thought, and here's the thing. I don't know what I was expecting. I came in fear. Like my immediate thought was fear, because I had an inclination of something doesn't feel right, because before I had walked as an animal with Samuel and Lucifer and all that. So I had been used to walking as animal and that, and then all of a sudden I'm in this avatar, and you would think this is really no different than an animal, but it is, because there's thoughts coming in. There's a lot of this, and you're hearing a lot of, you're reacting, and as an animal you didn't react. You could be free there. With an animal, that's what was so beautiful about it. They observe the world, but not from this type. They don't have an ego always telling them, I don't think I'd pee over there on the floor or whatever if you're a dog, or the cat over there. Maybe you go hiss at this human over here. They don't, it's not like that. It was, fun. We always made fun of Samuel. It was fun. And the owl, long story, but it was fun. But so anyway, I don't understand what's happening. And I come in fear because it was different, right? And so my soul light was of animal. You got to think that any of the last things I would have remembered was an animal. So here it is first as a human. So I don't know what it means to be that. I see a beautiful archangel come at me, which was Samuel. And he told me he would help me out, and he seemed familiar. So again, he felt familiar. Well, he was been familiar, but he held that same energy with me of, you mocked me. He felt that he had to control me, because when we were animals, Lucifer controlled, like he was the head, and Samuel Locaus would have been, what I mean, in hierarchy. He wasn't, and I was always protected. Well, this time I'm not protected. And I think that little light in Samuel was like, she is unattended. I can do as I wish, and I understand it was just a role being played, by the way, just not a role, but I'm going by speculation and under my perception. I'm not downing Locaus here or, Samuel. I'm not, this is a role we're all playing. But so you as human, you understand how you got, your parallel life. So you understand how it is to be a human. You might not forget. If you were an animal, you're not going to remember, but if you bond well with an animal, you probably been this animal. And I had no other human to go by. This is it, and so he comes and he is different. He's beautiful, he's light, and you think if it's divine, it's not going to hurt you. You think in this mind it's divine, it's beautiful. But I didn't realize when he was around me, he picked it up. He picked up immediately. So when you are spewing, my dear humans, when you are spewing fear, I spewed it onto a divine creature. And, I don't blame myself. I could put a lot of shame and blame, but I've had a lot of time to talking to Marcus. I know that makes Lucifer mad, but but it makes sense why this all happened. Well, I got pregnant because, it happens. I get pregnant. Well, after I had our son, he ran off with it. He said I was in no need to take care of it. He wanted to control the situation. And he knew I would be afraid. So here I am on the beach. I had just had a child, and I don't know what this means. What is this? I just, and after you're a mom after childbirth, you're already confused anyway.
Yeah.
Now imagine you're looking at the baby's gone. You have that, and he ran off. He's supposed to stay with you, and you trusted this divine light, but you realize in some sort what happened. What did I do? So you go to this blame game. What did I do? And everything. So I sat and I cried and I bled, and I don't know what was up. And I see another divine creature coming down. I wasn't trusting another divine creature after what that one just did. I'm like, I'm not trusting anymore. I'm just not having it. But there's something different about this one. I felt protected like I didn't with the other one. And he came down and he was real gentle. And I felt so needy. Like that moment, I wanted somebody to hold me. Like I was so scared. I didn't realize it was all in me. Samuel was just supposed to show me it was all in me, all in me. He wasn't supposed to fall into my, the human. He wasn't supposed to fall into all of that, but he did. He fell into that. Was his role. He fell into it, and he's gone. And I see another one, and I'm like, I felt I was crying because I hurt. I had a bond with this child that no more was with me. I was all as of the sorts, and he showed me such love and protection. And it's what his only role was to say, you are loved, and you know how to do this yourself. And I could have picked myself up. I seen my role. I could have. But as the dream with Dorothy, and as the dream with Alice, you get confused and you get into the dream state. If you watch Alice and you watch Dorothy, you get so into your role that you forget you're in the dream state until the ruby red slippers. And at the end, when they say she couldn't drink the Jabberwocky juice, the Alice, to go home. Okay. So now I'm in the dream state, as these two would have been on in the dream state. And the tornado already hit her. Now it's about to happen for me. And this is where my collar would have happened with Wizard of Oz. Because this is when we met up, he looked at me and he said, he bowed down and he was so gentle, and he says, I can stay with you if you would like. And it was like, you had such a relief, like, yes, I would love that. But then part of me, I'm hearing, no, that's not, no. That was my divine light saying, no, that's not what we do. But my ego spoke louder. Because as I was speaking out of fear, I was speaking out of already these limited patterns and everything, and fear. And I had somehow associated he was my protector. And the right thing would have been to say, no, but teach me. And he could have gone back. The ego was just reassured I had somebody. And I said, could you stay? Ended up as he touched my hand and we kissed, I watched his wings. And he all of a sudden he started kind of doing a lot of this. And I asked what was happening. He's like, I guess I'm matching you. And I said, oh, okay. He said, but I'll go home. See, at that moment, I'm like, no, you're not going home. But I didn't have to hard to tell him. I knew that. And he's overhearing me right now, and he's not happy with me. You got to remember, he knows his stuff, but to overhear it again from my perspective, he don't like it because he knows. But that's what started our walk. And it was me always looking at him. And, here is me going, well, they just kicked you out. Because in my thought, like, if you're divine, like, what happened to Samuel, then what happened to you? Like, divine really don't care. So I had a story. I didn't understand the story was so strong, and you could believe the story and react and thought to the story. And I really downed Lucifer. I really was so convicted that he got kicked out. We had walked for a long time, just me and him, and he was very flirty. We were very happy. He's trying to get used to me. I'm trying to get used to him. He had a different scent because he's still divine. He still glowed. He had the purple eyes, and we were still kind of around each other, and he was a good talker. So I just let him talk. I didn't know. I let him do all the talking because he could just come, and he like took the room, he could take wherever we would go. It was outside. Everything was outside, little tents and things like that. And he was so good with children. And that's what I wanted the child with him, because he just was so wonderful. And it made me miss my son. And I never told him about my son. He just knew Samuel ran off, but why the sadness every time I see a child. And finally I told him, and he goes, would you like one? I go, well, yeah. And he goes, well, how do we do that? He's asking me, how do we do this? I'm like, yeah, we're just going to go to this family. And he really did. He didn't know how we were going to do that. And I had to tell him, as that's how innocent and divine he was. I told him, and he goes, well, aren't we sinning? He goes, aren't we sinning? And he's like, immediately, are we sinning? I go, no, we're not sinning. This is not sin. This is one. They're being one. Because he was so into that, what? And I'm thinking, well, Samuel was quick to jump on me, but no, he was not going to do. But it just showed his protectiveness with me. Mm-hmm. I know everybody out there might like that might just been a natural. No, it was not natural for him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't natural, but he ended up being a natural, good at that. So, and then we had our children, right? And we found, and then Cana came around. So Cain, we just heard, of course, a mom will understand the child, I smelled, and Lucifer says, we kept our other children quiet. He goes, this one sensed like this one, but like, because we already had a couple. He goes, this one sensed like, and we could, and it would have been like 15, 16, and I'm like, so that we had been walking for a little bit, and I was like, wow, yeah. So the whole story of Adam and Eve, that's not true. He was with a different family, because Samuel, of course, couldn't raise him, so another family. But he did get Abel. He did kill Abel. Totally other reasons other than I don't know. It's not because I was a demon or he was a demon. Lucifer was none of that. It happened. You'd have to ask Cana why that happened. I'm not going to speak for another when I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for my son. But we grabbed him because he was going to get hurt. We grabbed him. And that's another long. Bumped into Samuel. Lucifer's going to kill Samuel. So, and I didn't, but so here we are walking around, and Lucifer's going to kill everybody, protect me. We're all walking. But as we were all walking, it ended up Lucifer started getting an ego. He started getting a giant ego about everything. And this is my woman, this is my woman. And we'd come across great parties. But at that point, I learned how to talk because I'd watched him and observed him, being the quiet lady, whatever. But I learned to listen to him. And so finally, it kind of reversed. He became where he didn't want to join the parties and the orgies. And I was like experimenting, like, I want to know what this all is. I want to live. And he's like, he was saying this is divinity. I don't know. I heard him on his video. He said it was his divine. He says he wouldn't. I don't know. I can't speak for my husband. I cannot speak for him or Samuel. But me and Cain, he'd be over there. I'd be over here, whatever. And those two over there, I said, we're just don't destroy our fun. We're having fun. Men, women, we're having just go over there. But it ended up, as we were getting very comfortable, I guess more lessons have to come. So if you get comfortable, that's your life, chaos, something, your way of thinking. Well, our way of thinking was we had victims, Divine kicked them out, and we would get free room and board with his stories, and our children. But then things had changed because we changed. When we change, of course, things will change. Your pattern, your thinking, and they weren't so generous. Because that's when I watched Lucifer go down, and I watched Samuel go down. Samuel went down first, which not trying to go chaos, but it seemed obvious he'd be the one to go down first. Cain, of course, would, because he was already ashamed of what happened. He bore a mark before Abel went down. Abel he had like a farm tool or something, and he'd gotten Cain right here on the face. He slashed Cain. Everybody says he had a mark on him from God. That's not, I don't know where that came from. He just carried a mark because Abel defending himself, rightfully so. It got him across the face, and he had wore this mark. So of course he's always picked on first. And Lucifer he took over his dad because he said Samuel had no right to for anything. He said, I don't care. It's weird. It's hard to describe the weirdness of this whole situation. But we would get free from and board, we're like good. Our kids would play with the other children, but it all started when like Cain got first, they started with him. And then they started with Samuel. And you got to remember, just because I would have carried some kind of grudge didn't mean it didn't hurt me to see that. Because Samuel had good intentions. And Cain was my son. And here our mom's watching all of this. And they're trying to protect me, the woman, because they knew I would get it worse than they would. And Lucifer, so you'd ask, where's Lucifer? He would be hiding in the back, holding me back, keeping me hidden. But see, before long, he couldn't hide. And then he was getting it. And then the only one, so that was basically our walk. So this would have been the whole Dorothy and Alice walking, just trying to figure out, making sense of all of it. And as in Alice in Wonderland, as in Dorothy kind of led the walk, even though she came across some perils, she came across some things. Same with Alice. They needed, like Alice was to be the great warrior. And I noticed Dorothy as well was the one that helped all of them gain their strength. She took them to the wizard and they all listened to her, and they took them to the great Wizard of Oz. And she ended up going home and recounting her dream, to everybody. Well, you were the Scarecrow and you were the Tin Man and the ruby red slippers and all of that. And then Alice, you watch Alice in Wonderland and you would see all the people around her. You would see their friends as Tweedledum and Tweedledee and the Mad Hatter, and you see all of that. So same as me. So you say, well, when did that? I get read my dreams going, I'm waking up. We had all been, and I was taking the lead because you've heard Lucifer's talk. So I'm not going to get into all of that because there was a lot and that. And my perspective on all of this was I had to start picking the pieces up, because they fell and somebody had to do it. So I started gaining the divine, and I shut my ego. And allowed divine. I had to do something. I heard a strange voice. I didn't know what that voice was, but it was Marcus. I didn't understand. Yeah, remember, I don't remember. I don't know who this is. I don't remember who this is. Right. But the closer the dream state and the veil is ending, the dream about to wake up, this like Dorothy, and Alice. My husband decides to stay in the dream state. He volunteered to stay. It's almost like if Dorothy just said, screw it, I'm just staying. Or any of them that Tin Man said, I can't do this, I'm gonna stay here at Oz. Even though it's not real, but this is where I'm staying. Well, that's what he did. Maybe shame, guilt, seeing, Marcus, maybe, I don't know, just seeing that the reality. So unlike Dorothy and unlike Alice, I had to walk without the man I loved, the man who originally saved me. And I had to carry the other two out of the dream. And when we woke up, it was almost like we walked. So how would that have looked? I seen like nothing really. I just remember sleeping. And I remember Lucifer said, I'm not going with you. And then I woke up somewhere. I didn't know where I was. And I saw Marcus and he goes, where's my brother? Then that's when it all made sense to me. I'm like, I failed. I took on this guilt of I failed. And because I'm still waking up to this different. And then when this love hit me, I go, wait a second. I didn't fail. He failed himself. It's still hard, but he failed himself. He stayed in his illusion for quite some time. A part of me stayed with him. And he always calls her daughter because he doesn't want to, he tries to keep it to me and daughter, which is still you and Michelle, Destiny. You're all three parts of that, my energy, but also he calls daughter because he says it's just easier for him. He says he would feel too guilty if he said Lilith, the shade stayed with him. But it made him feel better if he just said daughter. So if you hear him say daughter, that's what he's saying. He feels bad about the whole. How do I feel now? I'm still in the illusion. I know that he's doing it just for the humans, and he knows he's in a dream. He's always known. But we want to teach the humans. So as in Alice and as in Dorothy, how would we get out of that? You've seen they had courage. They got out of their comfort zones and they followed here, no matter how hard it was. You had the wicked witch chasing Dorothy, but yet she had courage she didn't even know she had when she had to get it. And then not knowing if she's going home, but she gained it somehow. And then Alice somehow in mind, the Mad Hatter helped her, and the White Rabbit, and she had to gain this courage of against the Jabberwocky here. Like, she's like, I'm not the hero, but she ended up being the hero. She ended up doing exactly what they all knew she could do. She just didn't know. Same with me. I didn't know. I thought Lucifer was going to be my knight in shining armor, but it ended up I was the one that took them all. And that is why he when he taught, you hear the different how I tell the story compared to him. So that would be my version. If there's any questions, or I will pause because I know I've been going, but I just like to get it out because it's such a difficult talk.
Well, I would it just kind of pieced together the polarity of it, that they came down to save you. They matched your vibration, which was lower. You had to be the one to realize the pattern, and then you broke it by raising your vibration and then saved them.
Mm-hmm.
It's for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's that right there, played out fully. Everything turned back around like it does. That's awesome.
Yeah. So now do you see how that works in the human realm? Yes, absolutely. It was to teach to teach me something about myself. When we were animals, they'd always protect me, always. And so it ended up, my part was to learn how to take care of myself and others in the way, to learn my divine love too, because they always took care of me, protected me, spoke for me. And this was a way where they couldn't speak for me anymore. They couldn't defend me. They couldn't anymore. It was up to me. But when I shut my ego down and listened to my divine more, because I followed my husband and I followed Samuel, it would give me some comfort. And see, that's what I wish maybe people could get out of this is I started off in fear and then thinking that divine was terrible to thinking it's just how you're thinking. It's just your mind and your imagination, how you're thinking, how you're going forward. It made sense to me. But then I'm saying it's not making sense to them.
Yeah.
And it came from the divine. And see, I understand the roles, but see, when you come, it was just like, why do I see it and they're not seeing it? Or they're just choosing not to see it. And I've never asked that question because, it's just, I don't want to ask, but it just felt like I had to think for all of them. But the divine love, it was so strong in my heart. It would be like if somebody hurt me, for example, or somebody would come at me and hurt me, right? It was always they'd rape me or they'd beat my back or whatever. I gave them forgiveness and blessed them. And I'd be like, they didn't understand. I understood. They didn't understand what they were doing. They were all just from this great divine love that loved me so much, loved them too. But how were they perceiving the energies from them? Were they taking it out on me because I was a woman? I don't know, and that's the way I took that. I bless them because they didn't know better. Like when Jesus was getting crucified and he said, they don't know what they do. And that's what I did. They don't understand what they do. And like I've heard stories about me eating babies and all of that. But see, unlike Lucifer, I understand it's just human hearing the stories. I know who I am and I know I'm not that. So they can continue to do their talks. That's fine. I don't have to defend who I am because I know who I am. I walked it. I walked it now. I know who I am. Lucifer knows who he is, but he still gets that agitation of that male ego agitation. But that's his role to teach. Because if he didn't have that, how is he going to teach? If Loki didn't have that, how would he teach? They have to hold on to that to show the humans, this is what you look like. It's a mirror. This is what you look like when you decide you want to have your ego. That's why Locatus keeps that kind of a Samuel to show others. This is, because every part of Lucian and Lazarus is just a reflection of another human that needs to see that come at them to help them.
Yeah.
And when they're like Lazarus and Lucian, That's all it is. This is reflection. And if you can see both of them and it helps, it means your energy, your vibration is matching. And that's really good. But it doesn't mean there's one good vibration here and one, no, I don't think so. And you don't want that. That's not, everything is high here. But we're here to just match another human. Where are you? And get you to this vibration. If you're attracted to me, for example, it means that you're there. And it means that, or you're coming, you're very quick to this. And you want that. You want to, all you got to do is fit into it and be that of what you want to be. That's really what it is when you can experience. Once I became what I knew I was, which was a strong woman, I knew who I was. I was learning who I was. I became that which I wanted to be. I just state, I am a strong woman. They can't hurt me. They can't hurt my light.
Yeah.
They can't hurt what I won't let them hurt. See, that's what humans need to understand. You can't hurt what you refuse to let hurt. That's why I'm so proud of you, Angie, and I'm so proud of Michelle, and I'm proud of Destiny, because I see Lucifer's walk, but each of you taking his walk, you're taking my walk, and you're discovering the walk and making it different under your perception and learning from it. Because what you're going through right now, Angie, is what he would have gone through. Because he would forget kind of where he was, like who was he? And you know who you are, and you know how, and you, it's just like you're just, and see, I'm here to just encourage you. You know how, it's just, you know, and he would just sometimes forget, and that's okay. Humans, you want to forget because this is your experience and this is your lesson.
Yeah.
And when I finally woke up to see Marcus, trust me, I was looking for like the battered parts of me, and it was pure light, pure love. I was just a light. There was no this. Yeah. It was just a light. Just love. But it's here too.
Destiny wants to know, is this the one human experience that you've had, or is this one of many?
This is one of many.
Okay.
Okay, so my second walk, I've had only two. I've only had two walks. The first was with, Lilith. My second would have been Radhe with Marcus. I took that with him when I wanted to perceive why it happened to my husband. I wanted to know what happened to my husband. And me and Marcus, this wasn't planned, but he had said the amount of intelligence that came from that walk, he said, you could assist me in my walk because it's going to be for Krishna. And he's like, well, and you already kind of know. And so basically we're going to learn off each other. This be a different experience. That's why I can help teach light and I can help teach shade. I can help teach both. Instead of just teaching the illusion, I can teach both. So this has been, I only had two.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes. So, and that was a very good question, but yes, I don't do anymore. I allow my aspects, which are you girls, to go out, you ladies or girls, to go out and speak, and my role is like channeling. I love this more because I trust my aspects are going to give exactly what I say. And the affirmations that you say are exactly the things I would have said. And I love that because it's exactly what I would have said. Destiny, her badassery and going at that was totally me too. I would go at and everything. And Michelle's quietness to some degree and learning through this divorce was me too, learning how to take care of myself. Even though I'm surrounded by men, I'm still taking care of myself because they were losing their gourd. Yeah. And why does that stand out more than me in my walk with Krishna? Because I let go of Krishna. I could let go because it was all light. And in the light, it's light. But in the darkness, there's always going to be that trigger, the pull to be that. And it kind of gravitates and you want to pull towards it. So you notice I try to pull away from it because I'm not going to be sucked back into the story. I'm trying to be the observer, but not react. And that's why I didn't go through like Lucifer. He goes into the whole thing and he wants to like relive it. I don't want to relive it because I walked with Marcus. I walked the Krishna walk, with him. And I want to retain that part, that's more helpful to teach. Yeah. But I know the darkness as well, but it's an illusion. And can I tell you what the illusion really is? The idea simply is anything that's not out of love is illusion. Limited patterns, the separation, all of this is that's all illusion, all of it. Because think about it, once you start perceiving, that's your illusion. Once Lucifer started perceiving things, the illusion hit. Yeah, and you're thinking of separation when you have to remember, no, you're not. If you could see exactly what we see, all you humans would see nobody's ever alone. You got light around you, the beautiful like ancestors, your other lives kind of reflect back, and it's beautiful to see the whole energies. Like when I see somebody, for example, like you, Angie, can I use you as an example of what I see?
Yeah.
So others can watch and go, wow, that's great. And that I can do that for Destiny too, because I can almost feel her saying, well, what about me? And we'll wait till next week and I can tell her, only because it's easier for me face to face. But like with you, Angie, this is what I see. I see your whole family. I see Scott, I see the girls, and I see all the people you have helped. I see the people looking at all of these affirmations and reading them over and helping them. I see you wondering, are people reading that and acknowledging this? And yes, they are acknowledging that. You got some celebrities, believe it or not. And I see, why do I see that? Because their energy shines a little bit different. They're trying to be a little bit different and a little sneaky energy like Loki, but I know what's happening there. But you're helping. I see so much help. And I see through here, you're so connected to the divine light. I see it here. And I see the council behind you. Like they're holding behind you. They're like, this is light. And behind you, they're giving you information. And then you give that information. And I see all of you, you're feeling this little chaos. But see, this is the eclipse energy. And how do I know? As well as perception, but this is all this energy coming from the eclipse, coming to change some parts, trying to lift some and move, rotate energies. But it's like Matthew McConaughey talking about the red light. Well, you've had a lot of green lights lately, so you were kind of like, well, and like Matthew always says, got to have a red light here and there, so we can. So that's what's kind of happening. You ask for a red light, to just to know your strength again, to remember your strength. Whenever time I had a red light, for me, for my thing, it was to remind myself, I got this, to remind your courage again. Maybe you need to be reminded your courage, reminded of all of these things you already know you can do, because the divine already knows it. And I see such strong depth. I see a lot of Mother Mary in here. I see a lot of the Mother of the Hands. I see just a lot of beautiful and strength within you that maybe you're not seeing, but I see in you. And it's all around you. And when I see you, I see light. I don't see you as Angie, as the role you're playing. But I see your astral self, long dark hair. That's how I see you. Long dark hair. You got the beautiful green eyes. And you're wearing like a white flowy dress. And that's just how I see your astral self. I don't see Angie as Angie. You would resemble your mom, possibly, in her younger years, and your grandma. And your grandma's always around. You've got, you got a lot of your animals that were always around. You got a lot of owls that stay around you. And now when I say that, and yes, and butterflies, you always got the butterfly, which is no coincidence you had a tattoo, because Locaeus always had his magical butterfly hands, and you always had one that landed always on my head right here, and it would follow me everywhere, and it would make Lucifer so mad, like why? Because he couldn't find us, for example, he'd send a butterfly on my head. That's how he found. So then when you had that tattoo, I loved it. I'm like, well, that's the synchronicity, and that's beautiful to me. Like, oh, there it is. There's my butterfly. So you always carry my butterfly, and that's the color butterfly he would have always put on me to find me, to make Lucifer a little bit. But that's what I see with you. That's what I see with you. I just see such rod hay energy. I see that, and I don't see. I just see somebody that worked very hard to break individualization with her mom and dad and grandma to be who she is today. And I'm with Michelle. She's just now breaking it out of that. She's just now being her own. But everybody works differently. Every part of me had to work a little differently. And it's okay, because this is a big energy. I mean, everyone is a big energy. It reflects. So it's all a different lesson. And that, like, your journey is going to help Michelle's journey and help in Destiny's journey. And maybe something that Destiny will do will help your journey. And then, like, Jennifer and Megan, same thing. It could be because Jennifer and Megan are part of this whole as well. They're part of all of that. And see, they got a different reflection of energy compared, but it's all part of who I was in this walk. I was all of these things, and people see that, wow, that's beautiful. Or you could say, oh, I don't know about that. I was always the zany one. I was always free flow. I see a lot of myself, like the early days over here. It's really free flowing and dance. And I like Ellie and Emily. I was really just myself. And I was flirted. Even though I was married, I still flirted. I had my fair share of flirting. I'd have been like Ellie, like,
Oh.
that would have been me. That would have been me. And I'd be like Lucifer, like certain like places we would go for like villages, he would know certain guys were my, and he would be, I don't know if we should go there, and he'd put that jealous stance. I was like, yeah, well, you and Samuel, because I knew he would tell me no, because he knew that I had a ferocious temper. And he knew not to mess with me. I said, I'm going over here. And he would try to, like, man block me, like man block me. I'm like, no, you just put it over there. You and Samuel, take it there. Just, no, you don't do that to me. But that's who I was. And Destiny was towards maybe the end when I had to become a badass. I had to be that, I'm just, all of you, I'm just going to, sometimes I even sat there like, I'm not saying you're not badass, Angie, because I can see a lot of this too with you. You all three have that badassery within you.
But I'm more calm with it. I used to have it out and about, but I don't like that. But I love that Destiny has it. I guess it makes me want to find mine again and hone it.
Well, that's what's happening. It's what's happening. You're trying to like with the whole, like with Lazarus, it has, as you're thinking, Lazarus can be like that, trust me, because Lazarus is a light, but Lazarus, so I think that's what's happening. You need to find your inner, the badass. You are a badass. Look at all the things you did. And some of the and your mom and dad, by the way, loved the whole thing with the 52 memories. And they're making 10 each of you girls, but they said they had like 30 or 40 for you and Michelle. They had to come really, but they said after a bit they were finding Michelle's too. And I can't wait. I was laughing, like, I want to hear these stories because I thought that'd be great, because you lived life the way I did. And I know Destiny lived life the way I would, but then Michelle, the quiet parts was more when I was reflective with them. And I had quiet moments. I know people were like, well, Lilith's probably just loud and the skirt was up, and no. I had moments where I was, civil, but I had fear. And she kind of represents the beginnings of how I was fearful of everything and that. And I'm not insulting her, because this is her journey. Each walk shows a human, this evolvement and the growth. I grew into this, and then I grew like to Destiny, and then like Jennifer and Megan, they're and because all of you have the same qualities, the same love, and that, and this. So it's like this. My qualities are in each. This shows a different phase of the walk.
Right.
It gives each a beautiful part. I wouldn't, even my fearful, I was beautiful to me. All of it. I had to learn that when I was as Rodhay with Marcus. He had to remind me I was beautiful all the time. And some points he said, there has to be a life where you're scarred or something to remember that it's not the outside beauty, because I was so concerned with my outside beauty. And there was a life where I was scarred, to remind me again, it wasn't about the avatar, it was about the light. And when I seen that my light was much more stronger than the outer beauty that I took account for, it taught me in another life, okay, as Rodhay, she was good as the light. Yeah. See, so, but I don't mean to keep talking. I get excited.
Destiny said she always feels pain when hearing about the walk, but also determination to overcome and create, and that she truly appreciates learning. And she added, I've suppressed her badassery is what this one's about. I've suppressed it for so long that learning to work with it has been a game changer in many ways. Yeah.
Well, okay. So she said she's pained when she hears the walk from my husband, because it pains me.
Yeah.
It pains me. When he makes these videos and he talks about the very first Facebook he did, it brought me down pretty bad, because I love him. I'll say things, and I love him so much. I love Marcus, and I love him. He's grouching because I said I love Marcus. You don't say that in his presence. You don't say that. He has a dartboard with Marcus and he throws it. He does not like Marcus at all. That's his brother, but he does not. And not so, yeah. But when I say, but I love them both. Sorry, husband, but I love both of you. And he's some growl at my ear. Calm down. calm down. I love you. Calm down. I don't know if anybody can hear him growling, but he's growling right now. He's a big growl, and that in your sensories you can hear the growl. Okay, all of my Lilith aspects will hear the growl. Really,
yeah.
There's this little growl, not little. It's just like when Loki's laughing. So Loki, I would not be laughing right now. This is not the time to be laughing. It's his growl. But I love both. But the walk itself, it pains me. But see, I had an opportunity to walk in light, to see the illusion. And it pains me, but I see it a different way now. I don't, but so when he talks about his walk, yes, it pains me. So it's going to pain each of my aspects. It will pain and bring you to that level of, because it'll take you back. The truth will hit you. And it's like, wow, but you feel it. But what I would want everybody to get out of that is the courage that Dorothy and Alice, the courage that she had to learn, they had to learn that. I had to learn. And that, so I got a second chance to love and learn. And that's just where I think, if it wasn't for the walk with Marcus, I don't know if I'd be accepting.
Yeah.
But now that I am, and I've been, and I've seen humans, and I see the beauty. I'd rather see the beauty versus all the hate, because behind the hate there is some beauty. There's something you're mad at. There's something you're angry about. Why are you mad? Why? And I'd rather help you figure that out, but not in the state of the illusion, like Lucifer. Now, sometimes you have to, but I'd rather not. If I can approach it from a different stance, I try from a different stance. I try, but sometimes I can't.
You said that Lucifer growled and Destiny said her dog just lost his shit and she can't help but laugh at it. So,
well, that's what's happening. Yes, because animals are highly perceptive. Yeah, absolutely. not a coincidence. It's validation. He's right. It was validation.
Thank you, Destiny's dog.
Thank you very much. It validates what I said about my husband.
Yeah. I've got 4 minutes until I've got to wrap it up. So I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
it's really good. So I hate to have to end it, but this has been really good. I really
can come back again.
I think this has been, because it's always the guys. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's just, it's neat to hear a female perspective about it, because it's coming from a place of love, but it's got such strength in it. And I feel like women are being put down by this world hardcore, and we need to have this gentle yet strength. We need to have both of these qualities equipped in us to take it on and be like, we're also badasses, but we're loving and we're going to fix the shit. Just hear us out. I feel like this was empowering. Destiny said, love it when Lilith comes forward. So very relatable on so many levels. I agree. It's I feel like I'm talking to my older sister, which I guess I am, which that's a weird thing to say to me. That's what it feels like an older than Michelle's sister. It's weird.
Well, it's because of the older energy. Yeah. I mean, it's what makes sense. She's just channeling me, but you channel me, Destiny, and it's all fine. So we have another teaching. I would love to be. It would be an honor for me to speak about maybe whatever. Just I'm all for it. Wait, what? Before we do not bring Marcus, I didn't call him my love, Lucifer. I just said Marcus. It's maybe Aaron Dowdy mentioned group conscious, talking about these meditations, or the group meditations. Yeah. So I thought maybe we start, doing these things on YouTube and that. So because he said if we can help, and I see I feel the anger. If we can help, I would love the blue heavens. He said he's not even heard of many people doing that, except for him and a few other people.
I don't know. I just got a pop in my head. It was all three of us. It was me, you, and Destiny on a Zoom that was doing this. So maybe that's what we do. I think the three of us get together to do it. Destiny, I don't know if you're up for that, but I feel like it's the Trinity, the female Trinity. That's powerful shit. And I think we should do a live like that sometime if Destiny's up for it. I think the three perspectives really adds another perspective to all of this. She said ping. Yeah, perfect.
Well, maybe we pick a live and each part of me talks, and to show everybody my different parts of Lilith and each of the female empowerment.
Yeah.
And I'm getting goosebumps. That feels correct in that. So this would be a different, yes, well, we can do that. You guys pick a time and that would be absolutely perfect. I would love the three. The empowerment would be absolutely beautiful. And I think more women and men that relate in the feminine aspect as well need to hear. I feel there's a lot of men hiding this feminine, and it's not to be shamed. I think it's beautiful, and that's beautiful. Well, I'll bring Marcus. I gotta be careful how I say, and then he will end, because he gets all the he loves being the end of all of this stuff. Not the brunt of the jokes here, but I will bring him forth. Yet it was a blessing to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just loved it. Everything's going to get better, Angie. It will. It gets much better. It will. I promise.
Yeah, I'm just at my red light.
I know you are. You'll be all right. I promise.
Yeah.
And yes, Marcus. Well, I had to kind of go across Lucifer.
Yeah, man.
He's growling at me.
Yeah.
Lilith, can you back your husband? Okay, because I don't want to do this in fear.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, he could. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, thank you. I don't know if you can feel this. It's at me. It's almost like it feels like Raku and now I'm like. So I'm gonna have to be careful when you ladies do this, because Raku don't like me and Lucifer hates me. So I'm gonna have to be very careful on the ending of that. You.
You're just gonna have to be a dartboard.
I'll do something to hide myself. Oh goodness. All right. So I'm going to thank the great Divine. Thank you for all the beautiful information that we got today. Thank you for, I'm saying this, hopefully I don't get killed, the beautiful Lilith for speaking, and beautiful Radhe for speaking about, Lucifer and the walk, and giving a different perspective, and, so appreciated. And I hope everybody gets something from this. You heard from Lucifer and you heard from her. And I think the two perspectives, like Angie said, gives everybody a different way of looking, and you can easily see the patterns and everything. And it's wonderful. And so I love this. And please, when we do the three together, everybody, like the followers, please wish me well to come forth at the end.
Yeah.
Hope and I can get there and it all works out great, because whatever. But we're very happy about everybody. We love everybody, absolutely, and all the followers and stuff. So I'm going to hand it to Angie. She's on a time crunch. We're going to hand it to Angie, and as Lola said, everything's going to be great, Angie.
Perfect. Thank you. Destiny said that she's been, I don't know, I missed the first part of it. Something about she's been like visualizing us getting on a call and wanting to record it to see where it goes, because she always leaves our conversations with such a deep understanding. So that's perfect. So yeah, we'll have to get together and do a thing and then do a live, and I think that'd be great. And Destiny said, thank you all for this today. And yes, this was awesome. Thanks for joining us, Destiny. I'm glad that you got to be here, because you're this. I think it brought understanding to all of us, and it was perfect. So in shadows deep, our fears may lie, but love's embrace can help them fly. Source energy, perfect and pure. Unleash your light of this, be sure. Know you are unconditionally loved by the creator of the universe. We all need to stand up, have courage, but still be gentle and loving to others. It's a chaotic time. We need to bring peace and balance as much as we can walking forward. So know you are unconditionally loved and you are very supported, and we will see you on our next live. Be kind, be brave, be hopeful, be loved. You are loved. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give us a like or a follow. Check us out at Blue Heavens 3 on our social media platforms or at blueheavens.net.